What is up? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Stability Sculpt. Today's Stability Sculpt will be foot and ankle focused. This is a great workout if you're a runner, weightlifter, or anybody who spends a good amount of time on your feet, which is many of us, right? Foot and ankle stability affect every move you make, every step you take that your foot is in contact with the ground or another surface where you are weight bearing. While many workout programs overlook this key area, by improving your strength and awareness through the foot, that's going to allow for more effective transmission of force, reduced risk of injury, and allow you to continue bringing the intensity without hitting plateaus, without getting injured in the process. All you'll need for today's workout is yourself, your body, a bit of room to move around, and that is it. So if you're ready to get started, make sure to shoot me a thumbs up and let's get into it. Getting into today's workout, something you may notice is that I am not wearing shoes today. So I would recommend going either barefoot or socks only for today's workout, as wearing shoes is going to add support to your foot, taking away from the work that we want your muscles to be doing. So if you need to, go ahead, take off your shoes. One other thing to note is that one movement will flow into the next. With the way I've selected the exercises, you should feel like each exercise sets you up for the next, flows you into the next. You shouldn't feel too rushed, but as long as you're doing your best to keep up with me, that is what's key. I will count you in when we get to 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking things to center mat with me, left foot planted. I want you to visualize gripping the ground with your toes. Once you've got a good grip on the ground, we are going to reach the right foot forward. Reach the right foot diagonal and back, and then reach the foot diagonal and back, but behind the left foot. Now your arms, they can either be in a nice ready position, up by your sides, or you can do a little bit more athletic movement, like I'm doing here. It doesn't really matter, as the focus is on the feet and ankles today. So make sure that you're keeping that strong grip through the foot as we move. This is gonna really challenge your foot muscles, especially if you're not used to engaging them in this way. And just continue this 3-way tap with me. First to the front, then out and back, and then diagonal between that left leg. Next exercise is coming up. So we're gonna continue doing the same thing for 60 seconds. What I want you to do now, though, if you need to reset your grip, re-clench the ground with your left foot. We're going to reach forward. This time that we reach back, I want you to allow your hips to rotate open. Bring it back to center. Now we're gonna reach behind that left leg, really rotating with the hips, planting the foot if needed for a little bit of support. Bring it back to center. Repeating with me, forward. Letting the hips open as we go diagonal and back. Reset. Letting the hips open as we reach behind that left leg. Okay, this is gonna really challenge your foot and ankle stability, so feel free to tap the foot down between rotations here, just to help restabilize, recalibrate between reps. Again, making sure to keep that foot clench nice and strong. From here, what I want you to do is get into a split stance position, so left leg in front, right leg back, not too far apart. We are going to rock back onto our heels, and then rock forward into a calf raise. All right, so as we rock back, I want you to think of flexing your toes, lifting your toes up toward the ceiling as high off the ground as you can, and then rock forward and lift your heels as high as you can off the ground by pressing those toes into the ground. Okay, so all that clenching work that we did during those first 2 exercises, I want you to bring that as we lift the heels up. All right, if you lose your balance, that's fine. Making sure we're putting an even pressure through all of our toes, okay? Not just a big toe, not just a couple toes. I want you to really grip the ground with all of your toes as you press up. One more rep here. All right, from there, what we're gonna do is, if you freak me a little shakeout, give them that real quick. Stand in a split stance position, gripping the ground, coming up onto the toes. We're going to drop down slowly into a split squat. Okay, doing your best to keep that firm pressure between all of your toes and the ground as we lower down. Really gripping, not getting lazy with the baby toes, and focusing on the feet. letting the rest of the body follow. And then what I want you to do is bring your feet side by side, about shoulder to hip width apart. Again, we're going to come up on the toes, so gripping the ground with all of our toes here. Coming up, and we're going to squat down from here. Fine, wiggle around if you need to a little bit. And when you're ready, drop with me into the squat. Controlling the lower, keeping the arms out front if needed for balance. And keeping a firm grip between your feet and the ground. As you lower, you may feel your ankles start to wiggle a little bit. You may feel a little bit of instability. Feel that. Move through that. And focus on which muscles you feel engaging versus not engaging when you're feeling less stable. You might notice that part of your foot is maybe losing engagement. Maybe your big toes are taking over. Focus on it, feel it. Take note of it so we can improve it. Okay, quick little shakeout. Quick little shakeout. We are going to now plant the right foot and repeat that on the other side. So starting with the forward reach with the left leg. Back to center. Out and back to the side. Back to center. Back behind the right leg. And then back to center. Again, keeping a nice firm scrunch of the foot. Gripping the ground, reaching forward, out and back, behind the right leg. And we're not rotating the hips yet, we're going to move into that next. For now, we're just finding our balance on this right leg, getting the muscles woken up, feeling good. Alright, now we're going to continue doing the same thing, but incorporating that hip rotation. So now when we reach out and back, I want you to allow that hip to open. And when we go behind the right leg, this can be really challenging. Plant the foot if you need to for a moment before bringing it back to center. So that's forward, reset, out and back, allowing the hip to open, back to center, and then diagonal back behind that right leg. I know this one's really tough, especially if you have weak arches, but focus on your grip on the ground, keeping it nice and steady, not just through the big toe, but through all of the toes as you continue to reach with me. We have a few more reps here. Again, focusing on any point of the range of motion that you are feeling weak in and trying to figure out which muscles are changing their engagement when you feel that. All right, from here, we're getting to that split stance position. Right foot in front, left foot behind, just about a foot apart. We are going to go rocking back on the heel, lifting those toes as high as you can, and then coming forward, clenching those toes into the ground as we lift the heels up. Again, it's really important here that we are not just engaging through the big toe or one part of the foot, but we're trying to engage all of our toes, gripping with all of our toes into the ground as we rock up. Getting that good stretch back here. And then crunching, scrunching, pressing into the ground. Whatever word helps you really imagine it. The way I like to think about it is if the ground is your stress ball and your feet are your hands, that's what I want you to visualize. We are gripping it as hard as we can. We're trying to wrap around the ground. Okay, from here, shake out your feet real quick. We're going to go into staying in that split stance position. Coming up on the toes for me. Find your stable point. Drop it down into a split squat. Again, you might really start to feel some of that instability here. You might find that at a certain point in the range of motion, you start to wobble a little bit, either through the toes or the ankles, so just feel for that. Slow down if you need to really pay attention to that. and work to reset between each rep so we can reduce that over time.
You lie to yourself at times, now you're falling apart.
Whew, all right. And like that, you made it through today's stability sculpt. I don't know about you, it's weird because that very targeted part of my body is tired. Like my feet are burning right now, cramping, but the rest of my body's fine. So, bit of a different style workout, but this type of training I like to think of as building the base, as building a foundation. By taking the time to drop the intensity, be very intentional with our form, very intentional with our movement, it allows us to better show up for our other workouts, allowing them to be more effective, safer, all that jazz. So I hope you enjoyed today's workout. Definitely let me know what you thought, how your feet are feeling, which I know is a funny question. Shoot me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Otherwise, thank you for working out with me, and I can't wait for our next workout together.